no reason. It's not a scheduled time, but I'm in the dough. And that's because I got to get back acclimated to producing a lot of content every week. We used to put up a lot of videos. I just kind of realized when I stopped doing videos how many videos we do. However, we've been talking about this reparations. This was going to be all week, so get ready. But the question is posed: are Black Californians going to receive reparations? And it's all type of trick bag, McGrick bag language in there, and all type of hoo ha. And they say, matter of fact, I'm not even going to play an intro. Let's get right on into it. Now, I'm already questioning old girl just by based off what she said. You got to just listen real quick and see if you hear it.
America has a moral obligation at best to acknowledge.
We don't want them to acknowledge it. They can deny it all they want. But what we want them to do is cut the check. We don't care about an apology. We don't care about, I just want you to see me now. I just want you to acknowledge and see me. Nah, we don't care about that.
The ills of slavery.
Reparations is the key to unlocking opportunity for African Americans in not only San Diego, but across California.
In the form of cash payments. Let's just not forget that.
Compensation for descendants of people who were enslaved in the U.S. We're taking a close look at new developments in proposed reparations for Black Americans and the quest for social justice.
The possibilities of the acknowledgement of the pain and suffering that our ancestors went through that trickled down to us through institutionalized racism is more real now than it has ever been.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Monica Dean. It's Black History Month, and one of the topics that has made headlines recently is reparations. 2 years ago, California assembled a first-of-its-kind task force to take a look at reparations for slavery. Opinions over government compensation for this and how it would work are varied. 2 years ago, California assembled a first-of-its-kind task force to take a look at reparations for slavery.
No. What is that? What's that? What is that? Hold on.
For this and how it would work are varied. NBC San Diego's Calvin Henry joins us with
more. Real quick, though,
recently
is more. Right. Check that out one more time.
Over government compensation for recently is reparations. For this and how it would work are varied. NBC San Diego's Calvin Henry joins us with more on what that task force found.
Look how they get the black dude. He's like, yep, Becky, Becky, let me tell him now. I'm going to tell him. You know I'm going to tell him now, Becky.
And why the people that you spoke with say the time to act is now.
And now, Monica, this is a centuries-old debate that now has new life, and there are things we know, like why people are speaking out in support of reparations, but there are things that we don't know, like where this conversation and policy proposal will end. I can tell you this journey has been personal, eye-opening, and informative.
How's it personal, Nick? You look like you a tether, straight up, though. So I don't know how it's been personal. They just stuck, hold on, we're going to get past this little commercial, y'all. They stuck you up there.
Slavery's legacy lives on, and so does the fight to right the wrong. For the last 2 years, the state of California has been researching reparations for Black Californians. California formed the nation's first statewide reparations task committee. The committee was made up of 9 people, including San Diego City Council.
Look how they always showing the pictures fast. That's how you know.
Reparations for Black Californians. California formed the nation's first statewide reparations task committee. The committee.
What is he doing there? Why is he here? He ain't black. What he got to do with the reparations task force? We already know Sucker Bob Jim right here. These two, Kamala Harris's pastor and all of that. He looked real suspect in the back. She looked tetheristic. She looked like the only FBA person. She looked a little tetheristic by them teeth. She might be black in the back. But what is he doing there? See, this is the thing. As black people, we don't get to sit on committees. They got to do nothing with nobody else. But they always sitting, lingering, and pingering around what we doing.
He was made up of 9 people, including San Diego City Council member Monica Montgomery Stepp. After more than 2 years,
Donald Tamaki. Who is Donald Tamaki? Let's check that out. Let's check out Donald Tamaki. Let's see who he is. Donald K. Tamaki was part of the Corin Nobis team that overturned Fred Kamatsu's 40-year conviction. Donald K. Tamaki received a bachelor's, his BA, Phi Beta Kappa from the University of California at Berkeley. Let me see. Mr. Tamaki has extensive experience in entertainment law, representing Olympic ice skating gold medalist Christian Yamaguchi and various television, and news anchors. What does he got to do? He's a Japanese American who fought for prison. Don Tamaki, a Bay Area-based attorney and one of the 9 task force members of the historic working on hold on. I just want. But what did he do? Is they putting him out there? He fought for prison camp survivors, now fighting for reparations for black community. What? Oh, so he was responsible for getting the Japanese they 20 racks. That's what y'all trying to say? Because if that's the case, then you shouldn't have no problem with us getting our cash payments, and it's way more than your little measly 20 racks, bud. Okay? Anyway, I just want to see who this guy was. Anyway, real quick, right back.
Years of research, fact-finding, and public hearings, the task force on June 29, 2023, released a much-anticipated report. The report to state lawmakers included recommendations for how the state should make up for the history of racial violence and discrimination against Black Californians. For some, a large part of reparations is repairing the wrong through financial payments.
That's right. No, not for some, for all. See, they get his little tinkle winkle face self right in the mix to talk about what it ain't and what it is. No, that's exactly what it is, bro. It's cash payments. Ask Mr. Wong here that's sitting on the committee. He know all about cash payments.
Now, the task force did not take an official stance on an exact number, but the total could amount to billions of dollars. For many, they hope the exploration of reparations does not become another example of lawmakers offering false hope.
How do you think the conversation has trended over the years?
Because of people like me in the new black media, we have been pushing the line of cut the check. Cut the check for who, you might ask? We've been pushing the line for cut the check for foundational Black Americans. Y'all done seen this out there. That came from Keep It P podcast, just so you know. That came from right here, son. You mean? I made that. And that's what we're coming for. And we're not taking anything less. We can talk about all the student loan forgiveness. We can talk about all the land, all the educational grants and business. We can talk about that. Let's get that cash rolling first, fam. We can figure out all the rest of that once you drop that bread. You understand what I'm saying?
Disappointing. The conversation has started, but then it's stopped. Distractions. So many other events occurred.
And guess what? We don't care about none of the other events that occur. Oh, we got Ukraine. We can't get anyone. We don't care. Oh, we got Afghan. We don't care. Oh, we got the border crisis. We don't care. Guess what we care about? Cutting that check. And guess what we ain't gonna do if it's not done? We not voting for none of y'all, man. We're not just giving votes away. And listen, I ain't voted since Obama. I'm gonna just let y'all know that. And I was tricked, and I was fooled, and I was bamboozled because I neglected to do the homework on who this guy was, and never found out until later that this dude has a Kenyan dad and a white mom, and he was raised by his white grandma who was anti-black in his face, and he had a problem with it. Also, did y'all know that President Obama is like one of the richest presidents ever? Dude is a trust fund baby. Also, you can see right now on TikTok or any various program where they got D. Gregory talking about his records has been sealed for 75 years. So we won't know the damage that this dude did for a minute. But we can all know, tell, and see that Cuz didn't do nothing for black people. Because this should have been on the way already. Cuz got in the office, and he should have been willing to sacrifice his life for the good of black people, because that's what you go to office for. But he didn't do that. Instead, he wagged his finger and he sung, what was that he said? Swing Low or something he sung. Like, we don't want your songs, cuz. We want our check. Anyway, that was my little rant. Hold on.
Ellen Nash is the chair of the San Diego chapter of the Black American Political Association of California. Now, we linked up with Nash and others to discuss why reparations are important.
Reparations are so important because it rights the wrong that we were treated in terms of coming here as slaves to this country, and how we were treated the worst.
It's about the treatment, don't get me wrong, but it's more about the fact that we were the economic base for this country to become a world leader. Like, America would not be America without the labor off of our ancestors' back. Furthermore, none of the immigration would have happened if the place wasn't all built up and popping. We dug all the ditches, we built all the infrastructure, all the bridges, all the buildings. You know, I used to tell me if you thought about this. You ever see pictures of stuff like back in 1910 and 1920, the Roaring Twenties, the 1910s and 1900s, and it was already built up. They already had houses and buildings and stories and buildings, and they was working on getting skyscrapers. Man, it was already built up. Who you think did that? They already had roads and streets and street signs and blah 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 blah. Who you think did that, fam? Who you think built that? They couldn't even came over here if it wasn't together. Anyway, there's one.
Worst of the worst kind of slavery that you can have can happen to an individual. We were not even treated as humans. We were property.
And why the time for action is now.
This report, it's evidence-based, it's data-driven, it has the facts, it's not emotional.
History, both national and local, is important, and at the heart of this conversation, California was not a slave state.
But it recognized all the slave laws from the other states, so stop it.
More than 4,000 enslaved people were brought to California between 1850 and 1860 alone, typically by plantation owners to work in gold mines and more.
So it was a slave state then. Come on, man. You just told me, man. I just heard what you just said. It wasn't a slave state, but you know it was a slave state, though. They had slaves over there, but it wasn't a slave state, though. What are you talking about?
Despite California being established as a free state, there's a history of mistreatment of groups and people, from Japanese internment camps in the 1940s.
See? Here go the trick bag. Always got to add and subtract. Now look at them internment camps, though. I've never really seen that, though. Those look like little cribs. That looks real cool. I'm just saying, like, that don't look like jail. It looked like they had it all together up in there. Towels, fresh towels, made your bed every day. And they got 20 racks for this, y'all. Just let that sink in and seep in just a little bit. They got 20 racks for going to the Holiday Inn while America sorted things out. And because we couldn't trust what y'all was on, we had to put y'all in these little Holiday Inns. But we're going to give y'all 20 racks back there. And that was the equivalent to, like, I don't know what, $250,000? Something like that in today's money. Come on now.
40s, in which those mistreated received a total of
Hold on, you don't go with luggage, fam, and it's not cool, fam. Y'all got to pack luggage, G. It couldn't have been that bad if you went with your luggage, fam.
and more. Despite
Hold on,
California
let's
being
look how he
established
was
as a
walking,
free
how they was
state,
looking.
there's a history of mistreatment of
I need to see
groups
how they was
and
looking one
people,
more time.
from Japanese internment
First of
camps
all, that's the spot. That spot right there. That's the what you call the Holiday Inn.
in the 1940s, in which those
Are you serious with the hats and the trip? She got like a fur on. Fam, boy, they packed up everything they needed. They was fresh and fly in the internment camps. And it wasn't for that long. It wasn't for that long. We talking about 400 years though, cuz. 400 years, cuz. There's a little bit more.
those mistreated received a total of $4 billion in reparation payments to the 1937 anti-Okie law, which made
For how much they got?
by plantation owners to work in gold mines from Japanese internment camps in the 1940s, in which those mistreated received a total of $4 billion in reparation payments.
4 billion is like, man, that's like 50 billion now. They got a lot of money, fam. So y'all already know how to do it. Did y'all worry about who was Filipino and who was Taiwanese and whoopty whoopty? Nope. Or maybe the Japanese did. Hold on now, because we know they don't get along like that. I bet you there was a distinction, and I bet you they was able to tell real quick who was and who was Japanese, and I bet you they ain't let no Taiwan, no Chinese, no specific Pacific Islanders, none of that get none of that bread. Just the same way that foundational Black Americans is the ones that's going to receive the reparations, and not anybody just because the color of their skin is black or because they experienced racism. Because you want to know why? Because you knew the racism was going on when you brought your little self over here, but you chose to make that trek and flee your country. So you should have got it popping over there. That's what you should have did since you wick hard and you such a hard working nigga, huh? Huh? Since you work so hard, why you ain't work it out over there in your own spot? Anyway, there's a little more.
To the 1937 anti-Okie law, which made it illegal to bring a, quote, indigent person to the state.
It's just a place where many of the first pioneers of San Diego are buried.
This is San Diego's Mount Hope Cemetery. Yvette Porter-Moore, a local genealogist, wanted to meet us here. And when we asked her why, she said this is her favorite place to visit because of all of the history that lives here.
Nathan Harrison was buried in this location in 1920. However, he did not have a headstone. It was an unmarked grave. But there was a gentleman who was a historian. He was doing some research, and he located where Nathan Harrison was buried.
Yvette says Harrison is a good example of how systemic racism over the years impacts the lives of Black people in California and the nation.
During the time that Nathan Harrison came to San Diego, he homesteaded on the property of Mount Palomar. And during this time, a lot of African Americans did not own property, but this man did. And because of the color of his skin and who he was not able to pass on his, his land to his descendants.
According to Yvette and many others,
Ain't that the story all the time, man? We the only people that has been sabotaged and taken advantage of in this whole joint. And everybody else been allowed to flourish. Every time we get somewhere and do something, we get knocked down and got to get back up again and start from zero. Are we going to get reparations? Yeah, we going to get it. Deal with it. It's going to happen. So what? What's going to happen? And it ain't going to be what y'all going to try to force on us. It's going to be cash payments to the descendants of the killing fields of the American South. If a politician, that kind of thing, nationally ain't talking about that, vote for the couch. Get involved in your local elections. You need to know who your judge is, your alderman is, your senators, your congressmen, your ward members, that kind of thing. But this Biden-Trump thing, man, if they ain't talking about substantially cutting the check and providing tangible resources for our community specifically, We shouldn't have anything to do with it. I'm not gonna hold you, but I'm a moja, hold you, scold you about being on code. You know, I got 5 words for you. Well, actually, it's 4, but I need to go ahead and subscribe for the vibes, like for the spike, comment your comment, share if you care about getting black empowerment everywhere. Please do that on the platforms that we own, Jones. And just to bring it all home, I be looking at them eyes, man, that I see. What's up, y'all? Yeah, ain't none of y'all said nothing, by the way, this whole broadcast. And I've been watching 20, 30 of y'all in here loosely the whole time. But you know what, man? I be wishing one of them eyes was mine. Keep it P forever. Love, peace, blessings, and aloha. I'm out to Doha, Ashoha.